Shalom. This video is about Tfillin. The English word from Greek is Phylacteries. Now, you have a Tfillin bag, and in the bag you have a set of Tfillin. Now there's two, and they're a little bit different. One goes on the head, and one goes on the weak arm. The left arm usually if you're right-handed. Now I'll show you, here's what it looks like. It's got a letter, Hebrew letter shin, and then here's a four-pronged shin. It also has, and it's kind of hard to see, but there are divisions here in this box. But you can see now the four different pieces there. That's because there are four independent pieces of Torah in there, Torah-like script, which has the commandment to put these on. And then there's straps, because this one, which you put on actually second, goes on the head. So it's worn every day but the Sabbath, just like this. Make sure the kippah stays in place. Then you have, but that goes on second. Now the first thing that goes on is the one for the arm, called a yad. And if you can see here, there is no division in there. It's just one, same text, but one long scroll rolled up that's in there. And the way it goes on is, you put it on your arm, and you take your watch off and your ring. It goes on your arm, under your shirt. And you do this standing up, but if I stood up, you wouldn't see it from the camera. And then Jews from Europe wrap it this way, and we do it 7 times between the elbow and the hand. Now there's 2 different commandments, separate commandments, because in the first paragraph we say of the Shema, it's you should bind them as a sign upon your hand and frontlets between your eyes. So they're separate commandments. Now once you get it this far, there's some different ways to wrap it, but it goes around your fingers, and I'm not going to do it. There's other videos that show you exactly slowly how to do it. One interesting thing is that when you wrap it like this, you have the Hebrew letter shin there, and the whole hand spells out the word Shaddai, one of the names of God. Now there's 2 blessings. The first has the normal blessing for a commandment, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'haniach tefillin, to put tefillin on. And the other is the same blessing formula, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvah tefillin, for the mitzvah of tefillin. Now, why do we wear it? Well, it's double commandment. The Torah says, you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. There's actually only 3 things in the Torah that are called a sign, an oat. One of them is tefillin. The other is the talit, the prayer shawl, with the fringes. And the third is Shabbat. Now, the Rabbi said you only need 2 signs to God every day. So if you already have the talit and you have Shabbat, you don't need tefillin. That's why we don't wear it on the Sabbath, but we wear it the rest of the year when there's not a holiday or the Sabbath. Also, in English, it has the word phylactery. Sounds like prophylactic, and that's really the way it's supposed to function, as a sense of keeping you reminded about the presence and awe of God. We wear it only in the morning, except on a fast day we wear it in the afternoon. One funny story I have, kind of interesting, I learned when I was a teenager, and I went to Israel for the first time, and I went to visit my ultra-Orthodox relatives. I stayed over Shabbat, and Sunday morning we went to pray, and we put our tefillin on. In the middle of the service, they started taking their tefillin off. Now, there's a couple of days in the Jewish calendar when you do that, the monthly new moon service, but it wasn't those days, and I didn't know why they were doing it, and I was very perplexed. And then one of my cousins explained to me that the tefillin that I had, and that most people have, that all people have, are based on the order of the scrolls according to one great rabbi named Rashi. But his grandsons, called the Tosafot, one of them had a different idea of the way which you should order those. In this particular group of Hasidim, and there's others who do it too, didn't want to decide which pair of tefillin were right, and so they have them both, and they wear one for half the service and the other for half the service. In any case, the one set is enough for me. There's also different sizes of tefillin. This is actually, a small. They have smaller sizes for bar mitzvahs, and they can be quite expensive because it's leather and they have to be handwritten on animal parchment by a special scribe. But it really starts off the day beautifully, and it's very spiritual. And it helps remind you about the presence of God. So this is tefillin, plural. Of course, the word tefillah is prayer. And I hope people will take it seriously. The question about women wearing tefillin, historically, very few women wore tefillin. There's a story that Rashi, the great medieval rabbi's daughters, wore tefillin because he didn't have any sons. And nowadays, more traditional women are starting to wear them. In the conservative camping movement, the Camp Ramah, there are very few women that are wearing them, although they're certainly permitted to. And the rabbinical students at the Jewish Theological Seminary, again, a similar issue about wearing the garb that was traditionally associated with men, the prayer shawl and tefillin, but now wearing it as women. One final story, the Talmud, the great holy code of Judaism, says that God wore tefillin. And what does it say in God's tefillin? Because ours says that we should fulfill the mitzvah of wearing tefillin to honor God. In God's tefillin it says that my great nation Israel. All tefillin are black. We don't have multicolors. They're all made out of this leather product. All Jews are the same in wearing the tefillin.